all of a sudden vanished?
Well, our elders told us that when you're eating, you don't talk. When your
You,
mouth is full with food, you don't talk.
you think they are eating?
Or many of them are eating. Many of them are in the pay of this government. And that's why I keep saying, and I keep hoping that you would have these tapes available for me in 2021, where I'm serving notice and serving warning that for all of them who are quiet today, Anyan Sanfoy, who have all gone quiet, they must remain quiet when power flips. Okay? Because the bed is being laid by people in power today, and they will sleep in those beds the way they have laid them in 2021.
Is that a threat?
It's a statement of fact. You lay your bed, you sleep in, you lay in your bed as you laid it.
But wouldn't that, if for example, we see the same things that they are doing today when you come to power, wouldn't that, in a sense, confirm what people say, that there's no difference between the two parts?
No, there's a big difference between us. We would hold them to account for their activities. Is Radio Gold being held to account for what you did? No, you're being victimized. You're being attacked because you're perceived to be NDC. We're not going to do that. All we are going to do is, previously, even when they fell foul in the interest of the country, in being father for all, we let it slide. This time we would apply the law to the latter. We will make sure the law works. When anybody breaches the law will work. Anybody who's taking actions today that are not in consonance with the laws of the land will be made to face the full rigors of the law. There will be no father for all. And that's not us being the same with them. That's not us being vindictive. That's us applying the law. In their case, even when the law doesn't favor their actions, they go ahead and do it. They run roughshod over everybody. Okay, and so at the end of the day, there's a big difference between us and them. We're going to be acting in the interest of the republic, in the interest of the state. We're going to be holding people to account for their stewardship, and we will do that. So help us God, But the bottom line here is a lot of people who should be speaking are not speaking. They're either eating or they're afraid. Okay. I mean, this period has shown me that many of the people who used to speak are cowards, big cowards. They're afraid, they're being coward, and they're running away because they're scared, basically scared. Okay, but I mean, you need to speak truth to authority. You need to let people know that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. Okay, and what we have is the power of the people. And so, yes, the people in power may think they're powerful. But when the power of the people begins to speak, you'll realize how weak you are in power. Okay? Because the Constitution, the preamble to our Constitution says that we are sovereign people, and sovereign power rests with the people of this country. It doesn't say it rests with the people in government. It says it rests with the people of this country. And that there's 30 million plus of us. And when we begin to speak, the what? 10,000, 20,000 people in government, they would listen. They would have no choice but to listen. But we just need to have a little more anger. It's.
You think we're not angry enough?
We're not angry enough, definitely. But you see, that's where I get sad at times with the NDC as a political party. For those who choose to speak, for those who choose to hold this government to the flame of accountability, you have people within the same NDC turn around and call us all kinds of names. You become victims of attack for holding this government to the flame. I mean, and I'm a typical example. I had people from within the party fight me in my just ended primaries simply because they think, who am I fighting for? What am I fighting for? Why am I the flag bearer? If the NDC comes to power, what's even the guarantee that I will get an appointment? There's no guarantee. But these are the very same people who are going to run around and get the contracts. And when today we're standing in the trenches and fighting for the NDC, they are the very same people going around and calling us arrogant and disrespectful. And at times it's painful, it hurts. And at times you just ask yourself, is it worth it, or should I just go quiet? Keep quiet. Let's all keep quiet. Let's all watch. And let's let this whole ship sink. Because it's unfortunate. We're on recess as we speak. The minority About 10 of us are working on major responses to the incompetent Bawumia and Akufo-Addo next week. Okay. People are sleeping in their homes. People are on vacation. Some are working to make sure that we hold this incompetent government to account. And yet they will turn around and call you all sorts of names from even within your own party. At times it does get disheartening and it does hurt. But I mean, it's part of the game. We take it on our chin. We're committed to doing what we'll do. We're not doing this for recognition from anybody. We're doing it because we think that it is the right thing to do. It is our duty. It's our service to our country, and we'll do it.
Well, so you're listening to Honorable Samuel George Nartey, who is a member of parliament for Ningo Pram Pram and has been elected to represent the NDC once again in that constituency in 2020, in the 2020 elections. And we're just having a conversation with him about the government and some of the things that they are doing. A couple of questions arise from the issue of your work as a minority. I realize that during this primaries process, you haven't been so out and out the way you have been. I think you have been focused on trying to get the mandate of the delegates of the National Democratic Congress.
Yeah.
When you finished the primaries, I'm sure when people were interviewing you, they were throwing at you several issues that you've not had the opportunity of responding to, the scandals that you've come to meet. People were asking you questions, some of them which you were hearing whilst you were working on the primaries, and you were wondering, how come this is happening at this rate? Yeah. Are you at any point in time, those of you trying to hold this government accountable? Because we in the media, our attention is so easily distracted nowadays. You cannot avoid one. Are you overwhelmed sometimes at what you should be talking about, where you should go? You are trying to go here, and all of a sudden this one comes. So you don't know. Are you overwhelmed at some point?
No, sure, definitely. I mean, the rate of corruption and rate of scandals in this government is mind-blowing. I mean, you're working on a response to one corruption scandal, and before you're done and putting together a press conference, there's another one which is even bigger, and so there's so many unfinished issues. In fact, we're faced with a communication conundrum right now, where there's so much going on that you need to speak about. You're afraid of an overload. You don't even know what part to take it from. And that's our challenge right now, because there's just too much happening in this government. You're dealing with the PDS, you're not done, and then PPA comes, you're not done, and Bost shows his head. I've thrown out the question that the Ministry of Communication needs to also respond and let us know how much revenue Kelny GVG has made the state in a year for all the money we've paid. There's so much going on, so much corruption at the same time that you just don't know where to start from. And the harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. That's the problem.
Laborers are few.
That's the problem. Very few people are willing to stick their neck out and do this.
When you say very few people, are you talking about perhaps those in civil society, or you're talking about even within your own party?
I'm talking about within the NDC.
Within the NDC, yes. You're finding that there are people who you felt should have been actively contributing.
You want to hear a lot more voices speak, but a lot more voices are silent. I mean, if you take out the Moment of Truth series that the National Communication Officer and his outfit run, which holds this government to account. Apart from that, what else do you hear from the party? As a party? Okay. A lot more of the talk comes from the minority, and even within the minority, the usual suspects. They're not more than 10. Yeah. You understand me? And so that's what I'm saying. The harvest is ripe and plenty, but the laborers are few.
What do you think will be accounting for that? There are those who say, perhaps a lot of them are holding back because they fear that this government is so vindictive, they'll find something to hold them on.
Well, for me, whether you speak or you don't speak, they'll come after you. The best form of defense is attack.
And do you think the media space is also accommodating of the National Democratic Congress?
You need to find your space. Nobody will give it to you. Nobody will create the space for you. You need to fight for it. You need to go all out. If you don't go all out and fight for it, who will give it to you? You don't expect the media to come to you and beg you and put a microphone in front of you. You need to demand it. You need to go out. We're the biggest opposition in this country. We're the lead opposition party. We need to demand. And we make news. When we speak, the media would listen. But when you don't speak, you expect the media to come and ask you what you have to say. Don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Even when we say the media is skewed in favor of the NPP spoke in opposition. There were times when the NPP could hold 3 press conferences in a day. 3. One in Parliament, one by the party, one by the flag bearer. 3 in a day. What are we waiting for? At times, like I say, it gets disheartening, but it's what it is. We'll keep the fight, and hopefully we shall make headway one day, someday.